Tesla earnings call day. We will be joining this earnings call in just a few minutes. Tesla earnings are out in written form, but what we'll have today is them explaining them, and then Elon Musk will do a Q&A, where I believe he is going to break his cardinal rule of not announcing new stuff during earnings calls. That's how code red the situation is. Because the earnings, surprise, surprise, came in and they're bad. They missed on top and bottom line, really. They missed on revenue, amount of cars sold, and they also missed on earnings, which are down, I think 71% something year over year, like actual profit taken home. So it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. But to be clear, there was a lot of people buying puts going into this. It might be less bad than expected. There might be a near-term little pop, but I mean, it's bad. The trend is terrible. They also removed from their earnings, usually they have a line about Tesla no longer mentions expectations to return to growth. They got rid of that and said, you know, it'll depend on a variety of factors, which is just a weasel word. I mean, they're not even expecting growth. So it's not a great earnings release, which means Elon Musk will have to be in rare form. Elon Musk is gonna have to go on this call and bring back what you might call the Elon reality distortion field. He needs to go on and make sure people associate Tesla with the future, with progress. So we'll see what they announce.
All right, here we go. Podcast. My name is Travis Axelrod, Head of Investor Relations, and I'm joined today by Elon Musk, Dev Taneja, and a number of other executives.
Let's get it. Elon.
Hello, everyone. As people know, there's been some blowback for the time that I've been spending in government with the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. The natural blowback from that is those who were receiving the wasteful dollars and the fraudulent dollars will try to attack me and DOGE team.
Okay, opening with politics.
Associated with me. So I'm really left with two choices. Should we just let the waste and fraud continue?
It is continuing.
Or to fight the waste and fraud and try to get the country back on the right track. And I believe the right thing to do is to fight the waste and fraud, because if the ship of America goes down, we all go down with it, Tesla and everyone else. So I think this is critical work.
Okay.
Now, the protests that you'll see out there, they're very organized. They're paid for.
No, he's doubling down.
They're obviously not going to admit that the reason that they're protesting is because they're receiving fraudulent money.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Largesse. That is the real thing that's going on.
Bro, the deficit is increasing.
So
only time higher was the beginning of COVID.
I think starting probably next month, my time allocation to DOGE will drop significantly. I'll have to continue doing it for probably the remainder of the president's term, just to make sure that the waste and fraud that we stop does not come roaring back.
Wait, what day did he say?
Which we'll do if it has the chance.
Did he say May 16 or May this month?
You know, a day or two.
May
or
this
week,
year.
Starting next month.
Next month.
Allocating far more of my time to Tesla.
Dude, why did you speak like a kid in the principal's office? Like,
So,
got in trouble.
I continue to believe that Tesla will be the most valuable company in the world by far. But that's an important hit. We must execute well.
Bro, you just reported 71% down earnings, and you're on your way to being the most.
It may be as valuable as the next 5 companies combined.
Dude, stop saying this. You are ignoring the elephant in the room. The cars are plummeting in sales.
There'll be a few bumps along the road before that happens. I said, I think on the last earnings call, that we'll start to see prosperity of autonomy take effect in a material way around the middle of next year. We still expect to have be selling
next
fully
year?
autonomous rides in June in Austin, as we've been saying for now several months.
Autonomous next year. That's a line I never heard before from him.
When does it really become material and affect the bottom line of the company and start to be a fundamental part of the
Dude,
when does it move the financial needle in a significant way? That's probably
when?
Around the middle of next year, second half of next year.
Come
And
on.
then once it does start to move the financial needle in a significant way, it will really go exponential from there.
This is like a Woody doll. You just pull the string and he says the same f***ing lines.
Some sort of bumps and potholes of the road immediately ahead of us. But lift your gaze to the bright, shining, citadel on a hill. I don't know, some Reagan-esque imagery.
Bro is not cooking.
That's
Bro
where
is
we're
cooking
headed.
with
Not-
nothing.
Not too distant future, like I said. So,
This is the big speech. This
for
is the
several years,
code
is
red
to
save the
localize
company
supply
speech. Get everyone
chains
back. Roaring
from
Kitty
a
could do
cost
better than
standpoint,
this.
and from a logistics risk standpoint, is to have the supply chains be at least located on the continent in which the car is built. Now tariffs are still tough on a company when margins are still low.
Yeah. I
but
mean, you might be slightly better than
we do
some
have
companies
localized
because you
supply
have
chains
yeah,
in,
local, yeah,
North
100%.
America, Europe, and China.
But tariffs are not
So
going to help your business.
puts us in a
Increasing
stronger
competition from
position
China doesn't help
than
your
any of our
business.
competitors.
And you're also right in the middle of the U.S.-China decoupling war. I mean, that's a big material risk you're kind of glossing over.
And
Sorry.
Undoubtedly, I'm going to get a lot of questions about tariffs, and I just want to emphasize that the tariff decision is entirely up to the President of the United States. I will weigh in with my advice with the President, which he will listen to my advice, but then it's up to him, of course, to make his decision.
He doesn't like tariffs
I've
either.
been
Hey, amen,
on the
brother.
record many times as saying that I
Oh, you
believe
got a business and you suddenly
lower tariffs
realize
are
that it's
generally a
fucking
good
stupid
idea.
on every level?
As we're going from once we can make the system work where you can have paid rides fully autonomously with no one in the car.
Dude,
in
Waymo's
one
doing
city,
that right now.
That very
In
scalable
many
thing for us
cities.
to go broadly.
Waymo's
within
doing it right now.
Whatever jurisdiction allows.
Yeah, I've
us
been
to
in one. You
operate.
can just get in the car.
So,
He's
a general
talking about it like it's
solution to autonomy,
like he's the forefront of
not
technology.
this is the advantage of having a generalized solution using artificial intelligence and an AI chip that Tesla designed specifically for this purpose.
Oh, let's talk about AI.
Um,
Why don't you suggest buying
as opposed
XAI?
to very
Go for the
expensive
slam dunk.
sensors. We expect to scale Optimus faster than any product, I think, in history.
Dude,
To
you're
get
gonna
to
scale
millions
up
of units per year as soon as possible. I
humanoid
think,
robots faster than any product
feel
in
confident
history.
in getting to a million
There's
units
not
per
going to
year
be
in
any
less than 5 years.
regulatory or mechanical
Maybe
issues
4
with
years.
scaling up humanoid robots faster than the iPod. This is
2030,
horseshit.
I feel confident.
This
in
is
18 million
horseshit.
Optimus units
This
per
is
year.
a horse shit.
It might be 2029.
2029?
So, let's see. With respect to energy, our energy business is doing very well.
Well, you're not going to be selling cars
Megapack
by then.
is
Why are you so
At peak
pessimistic?
power.
It's not my first time
for
hearing an Elon call,
all
right?
24 hours, as opposed to being at half
He doesn't
power,
have a great
sometimes
track
quarter power
record
at
with
night.
promises. That's why I'm
Then you
pessimistic.
could double the energy output
Okay? He's a little bit of a trickster.
of existing power plants most of the year.
The battery stuff is cool. Low key.
And utility companies are
Talk
beginning
with
to
Doug
realize
about
this
this. Yeah.
and are buying our mega packs at scale.
Yep. The Mega Packs
So
is a good
at this
product.
point, a gigawatt class battery
Especially
is
in like, I mean, you could sell this in Germany where they have a ton of
content.
wind and solar and they need a
So
fucking
with
it actually
many
can
orders
work.
in the hopper for gigawatt.
But it's still small. But I
very,
understand,
very
yeah,
good
Germany's not a big fan of Tesla.
Um,
Or Elon.
Q1
They'll do it as
you
the
know,
last
first
resort. I
ones
mean, that's like with
over years
Starlink, dude.
are-
People
are
have to
u- are
use it
usually
sometimes,
pretty
but
tricky.
they're trying to find another solution.
because it's usually the worst part of the year because people don't want to go buy a car in the middle of winter during a blizzard.
No, don't say it's the worst part of the year. These are year-over-year results. It is down 71% from this time last year.
To the new version of the Model Y.
The winter last
And we
year,
changed
they sold way
production
more cars. It's not.
the world's
It's
best-selling
don't try to
cars.
make it like, oh, it's winter.
Remember,
That's why
the
it's
Model Y is the
down.
best-selling car
It's a
in
year-over-year
on
comparison,
Earth.
bro. That's fucking horseshit again.
In conclusion, while there are many near-term headwinds for us and the broader industry, the future for Tesla is brighter than ever. The value of the company
Dude,
is delivering sustainable
he
abundance.
sounds
with our
like a
affordable
kid
AI
reading off a
robots.
PowerPoint slide
So-
in front of class.
I like this phrase.
It sounds so
Sustainable abundance for all. If you say like, what's the ideal future that you can imagine?
middle school presentation. Yeah.
That's what you'd want. You'd want abundance for all. Basically, this is the happy future. So what's the happiest
This
future
is the
you can
happy
imagine?
future.
Closest thing to heaven we can get on Earth, basically.
Let's get to the Q&A, bro.
The next question is, does Tesla see robotaxi as a winner-take-most market? And as you approach the Austin launch, how do you
good
expect
question.
to compare against Waymo's offering, especially regarding pricing, geofencing, and regulatory flexibility?
Good question.
Well, okay. The issue with Waymo's cars is they cost way more money. You know, their cars are very expensive, made in low volume. Teslas are,
Plus two.
I don't know, probably quarter or 20% of what a Waymo costs, and made in very high volume. I mean, I don't see anyone being able to compete with Tesla at present.
Dude,
And I'm sure that'll change eventually.
no, it's come on.
But
Tesla
90
CEO says no one can be with
9%
Tesla.
market share or something ridiculous.
99%
90-something
market share.
Like Elon said, we already have a big existing fleet, which hopefully with the software update could become autonomous.
With the software update, it will become autonomous.
Yeah, I was like, hopefully.
To be clear, the Model Y in
Don't be saying hopefully.
Austin in
His
June.
CEO just said it was
All the
guaranteed.
Model Ys we make currently. There's no change.
He had to
to it.
correct him.
I think people don't appreciate that the car which they can buy today,
The car that they have.
or the car they have, is capable of
Yeah.
these kind of things.
He
In
keeps
fact, it
jumping
does
in.
drive autonomously from the factory to the end of line, every car.
I'm confident that from both factories, we'll be able to drive directly to a customer.
Tool delivery.
He said this year.
Yeah.
He said this year. Your car
Literally
will
goes from
drive
the
from
end
the
of line
factory to
drives
where you
itself
buy.
to the house.
How is that a benefit
Yeah,
to the
people-
customer,
If
by
you
the
can
way?
film it. By the way, you can
Your
see
car
this
shows up
from
with
the
more
road.
miles
It's
on it?
uncovered.
If I
Exactly.
buy it in Florida and it drives
In
from
this video,
Fremont,
people take videos online.
I just want you to pay for putting it in a truck. Can we get like a live feedback from Elon Glazers? Like, what are they saying about this? What are Tesla bulls saying?
Traditional.
This guy used to be a
Traditional-
Tesla bull?
car. So trying to get much below, sort of below like 30 seconds, is extremely difficult. But if not, and you start getting into sort of impossible, where you just you have to be faster than a human could possibly move.
Dude, he's just
Then,
yammering.
the autonomous
He's just yammering.
The next question is, how is Tesla positioning itself to flexibly adapt to global economic risks in the form of tariffs, political
Okay,
biases,
tariffs.
etc.?
This is the one I want to hear, and then I'm probably done with this call because he's just.
One said, we've been supply chain team been at it for a while.
Is he not even going to answer?
This is a pre-pandemic strategy that we accelerated post-pandemic through supply diversification, dual sourcing, vertical integration, advanced analytics, and local partnerships to ensure supply chain resilience
He's
and
just reading a
production
script,
stability.
bro.
Having said that, we are not 100% insulated, and these tariff risks are higher on our low volume platforms than the high volume ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, there's no more vertically integrated car company than Tesla. I mean, we're the most vertically integrated car company since,
Give it a rest, Squeaks.
Henry Ford back in the day when they were doing mining iron and stuff, and growing rubber trees. So, like we're not growing rubber trees and mining iron, yeah.
Since Henry Ford mined
But
iron and stuff.
we have built a lithium refinery in South Texas, and thus are best positioned to protect against supply chain disruptions.
Yeah.
Right. Lonnie, do you want to talk about the progress in the front?
Yeah, certainly for our in-house cells, we've multi-sourced every component. We have
What is he having about? He's saying
every
that
part coming from at least
tariffs
2 different countries of
on
origin, which is
parts of the battery supply chain from China
we
are not
started
going to
this
affect them
supply
as
chain
bad as
team
other
engineering
car
team worked together
companies
on this for the
because
last
they have
couple
built
of
their
years to
own
put this
lithium
together. It's not
refinery in
something we did
Texas
in a couple of
and
months. This is years of work.
battery production.
So we're in a good
So they will be
position to
more insulated.
take advantage of that, and the
But,
insourcing.
but it's
of
not
lithium
working.
and
It's not built yet.
cathode.
And we don't know what the tariffs are going to be tomorrow. And other car companies might just
and we're totally insulated from.
tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Well,
have
it
no
needs to be in operation.
tariff on
It needs to be in
batteries.
operation. Let's run-
At the
run
same
it.
time, it
also
doesn't
make
make you
itself,
more cost competitive
by the way.
versus
So it's
BYD in every
self-production.
country in the world except for
If you took-
America.
you have to-
By the way,
this-
I can say
you
all
make
this
the
pretty
anode,
clearly without mumbling.
The lithium, the electrolyte separator.
So
can,
why
and
can't
you
the
gotta pull that
CEO of the
together in
company
a cell
do it?
Factory. There are entire companies that all they do is produce cells, but they don't do the other stuff. They don't refine lithium or the cathode or, yeah. So we have the lowest cost per kilowatt hour, all things considered. So the Tesla cell is the most competitive cell.
Dude, it's crazy.
it-
I gotta pause this. I'm sorry. If you want to listen to it, it's gonna be available. I need to talk for a little bit, and this guy's rambling underneath it, and this question is being deflected. It is insane to come out with earnings that show a dramatic drop in car sales, clearly attributed to large swaths of customers turn away from the brand, and not mention it the whole call. To say a brief thing at the beginning of how there's paid protests by George Soros. It's crazy. If you're an investor in this company, this is crazy. Every earnings call is designed to say everything's fine. Yeah, I've listened to hundreds of earnings calls now. I understand that. I understand that he's not going to be like, yeah, we're fucked. The thing that differentiates what you hear from the good, high activity CEOs is they will address these concerns head on with a clear, easily communicated plan for what's going on, how they plan to fix it, and the plan for the future. This is dancing around, obfuscating, mumbling. Look over here at this different small thing. Like this is a car company that is drastically selling fewer cars. This is code red. This is the big issue. It's a company that's valued at 132 times sales and with declining sales. I mean, I understand, I guess, why he's doing it. I understand his playbook, but it feels so outdated now.
The macro demand for cars.
Yes.
You know, so when there is economic uncertainty,
EV car
people
sales are up, for
generally
example,
want to
in
pause on
Norway.
buying,
Tesla
doing a
sales
major
are
capital
down.
Purchase like a car.
EV car sales are up,
Um,
for example, in
but,
Germany. Tesla
you know,
sales are
as
down.
far
It's
as
not macro
Absent
demand
macro
for
issues,
car
we
shrinking.
don't see any reduction in demand.
You know, you're still sticking with the vision-only approach. A lot of autonomous people still have a lot of concerns about sun glare, fog, and dust. Any color on how you anticipate on getting around those issues? Because my understanding, it
You're
kind
still
of blinds
vision
the
only.
camera when you get glare and stuff.
Actually, it does not blind the camera. We use an approach which is direct photon count. So when you see a processed image, so the image that goes from the silicon photon counter that goes through a digital signal processor or image signal processor, then the image that you see looks all washed out because if you point the camera at the sun, post-processing of the photon counting washes things out. It actually adds.
The question
noise.
was about camera-only self-driving
so
versus camera plus
Part of the
radar
breakthrough
plus
that we
LiDAR,
made some time ago
which is
was
what
to
Waymo
go
has.
with direct photon counting.
Are you worried about
and bypass
the sun
the,
blinding you,
image signal
dust,
processor.
fog, etc.? And he's rambling about how
pretty
they
much
have
straight
a
at the sun, and you can also see in what appears to be the blackest of night. You know, in fog we can see as well as people can. Probably better.
He did ignore the fog part of the question. He said the camera will be just as good as a human driver, which is what he's saying is like, you know, we operate visually, the camera will operate visually. It's like, what do you want from us? But obviously being just as good as a human driver is not what you want with an AI driver, because humans are not good in fog. You want better. Again, LiDAR and radar's ability to navigate fog or any sort of visual disruption is incredible. I mean, it's like what you want to be able to fully trust it. Not only for yourself, but for other cars on the road if you're driving. And this idea that, well, it'll be as good as a human is a cop-out. I mean, it has to be better. Otherwise, I mean, there's already so many legal issues of who's at fault when a self-driving car kills someone or crashes. What if it hits somebody? Or is the driver at fault? Is the car at fault? Is Tesla at fault? Who's showing up in court? And all of that is dangerous and liability and could lead to huge legal action against the company. And the best way to avoid it is to be as safe as possible. And especially because when they first decided not to use LiDAR and radar, they were very expensive. But they've gotten cheaper every year and will only continue to get cheaper. So this idea that they're going to just leave them out is, I think, short-sighted.
You know, with respect to humanoid robots, I don't think there's any company in any country that can match Tesla. Tesla and SpaceX
There's not even, you don't have one.
Number one. Now, I'm a little concerned that on the leaderboard, ranks 2 through 10 will be Chinese companies. But I'm confident that rank 1 will be Tesla.
Great. Well, I think that's unfortunately all the time we have for today.
Oh,
we appreciate all
really?
your questions and look
I
forward to
wanted
talking to you
4
next
more
quarter.
hours.
Thank you very much and goodbye.
Truly miserable. Well, I guess the code red is over, huh? That's a company that's got its shit together. That's a company that's got its shit together. I really, you know, this is going to sound crazy after that, but I actually came into that call a little nervous about the declining car sales. But I left feeling absolutely reassured that the company has everything on lock and is in an absolutely great spot. The future is bright. I left reassured that their leader is steering the ship very well. I guess the only new thing in that whole call, the only major takeaway, was his statement that he would be not stepping back, but like reducing his time on Doge starting in May, which could be a soft way of saying exit. You know what I'm saying? Where he'd be sort of an advisor, but he's not hands-on anymore. Now, he should have said, I think, more concretely, but maybe he's afraid of, I think he wants to have a weasel out of it, to where it's not like a mission of defeat. I think it sounds like he's understanding he has to step back from Doge to even begin to repair the damage to his company. That's May. That's 1 month away. I mean, that's a week away, really. for May to begin. And then by the end of May, he's supposed to have stepped down or stepped back. That was probably the biggest new piece of information. Nothing about buying XAI, which was good. Battery pack was good. I mean, small but good. And then car stuff was the same old, like, don't worry that our sales are plummeting. Don't worry. We've got self-driving and we've got Optimus robots. And that's what he's been saying for over a year now. That's the big thing. Coming soon. Not very good. Not very good.